Last night on Question Time, they didn't just expose a hypocrite, they peeled back the skin of modern politics and showed you the rotting machinery underneath. Malcolm Offord, formerly Lord Offord, thinks he can jump ship from the sinking Tories to reform and call it conviction. Watch him ignore this very straightforward question.
The reason why I moved position from Conservative to Reform is I don't believe the Conservatives have got any ambition for Scotland. I don't believe Russell personally feels he wants to be the First Minister. I don't believe that the Scottish Conservatives think they can produce a narrative for Scotland.
And it
Scotland
wasn't anything to do with the fact that
narrative.
Conservatives are doing so badly in the polls compared to Reform?
This is completely a personal decision of mine that over the last year, I find myself increasingly at odds with the Conservative position.
He wants you to believe he's taken the high road, while joining a party whose leadership openly talks about cultural smashing of Glasgow. And when that language gets challenged...
So this has come up, James, and I'm sure this is why you're referring to it, because Nigel Farage, your new leader, Malcolm, talked about the fact that 29% of primary school pupils in Glasgow have English as a second language, and he described it as the cultural smashing of Glasgow. Is he right, Malcolm?
Well, I wouldn't use that language, but what we're dealing with here
is... So what's wrong with that language? What's wrong with that language?
I know. The immigration issue we're dealing with is something which is a worldwide issue, a European issue.
As if racism becomes acceptable once you outsource it. As if you can benefit from the dog whistle and share the platform and wear the badge, then step back and say, well, it's not really me though, is it? No, you don't get to rent moral innocence. You don't get to pretend that you're above the politics of your own party. If you join the circus, Malcolm, you don't get to act surprised when you're standing next to the clowns. This is an epic takedown of him and of Reform of whole. Have a watch of this.
Why are you presuming they're new migrants? Why are you presuming they don't speak English? And why are you using Glasgow children to spread your bile and poison into our communities? It's utterly shameful. And you might not agree. You might not agree with the language. You might not agree with the language, Lord Offord, but you need to own it. Because that's what you are part of now. You are part of a political party that deliberately spends tens of thousands of pounds questioning my loyalty to Scotland and lots of other people's loyalty to Scotland. And all you really are is a poisonous, odious man hiding behind the badge of Reform, looking to divide our communities rather than change our communities. And let's not forget, Lord Offord, that when I was here serving the community of Paisley as a local NHS dentist, you were an advisor to Ian Duncan Smith. You were the man that served in Boris Johnson's government and Liz Truss's government. So don't you dare try to be the great champion of working class communities in Scotland. People have seen your light before and rejected them, and I've got no doubt they'll reject them again.
If you join a movement that questions people's loyalty to Scotland, that uses children as a cultural war ammunition, that pumps money into grievance and fear, you own it. Silence isn't neutrality, it's cover. And that's the trick here. He wants the credibility of being the reasonable one, the moderate voice, the man of conscience, while quietly legitimising a party that thrives on exactly the opposite. We accept a lot of nonsense in politics. We accept spin, we accept dodging, but we should never accept the idea that our votes are just leverage for some empty suit career negotiation. And I want to see every Reform spokesperson, MP and councillor held to exactly the same account as Malcolm. Because if you join a part of a racist movement, even if it's not words you use yourself, you're still endorsing Farage's message.